Good. You didn't hear any of that. What's up, spooky party people? I'm Archimus Prime, and I did not have any audible jumbles and stutters when I was introducing this game earlier. But we are playing the Stanley Parable Deluxe, Ultra Deluxe. Thank you, Ursa. Confirm. I've played the Stanley Parable before. Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. I don't know why I'm narrating all this. Someone else will be narrating soon. I promise. Ooh. Am I doxing myself by doing this? Because now you know I'm in the Pacific time zone? Sweet. You should. It's not horror. It's not. I promise. It's not the horror. It's not. I can't do the freaking accent anymore. Okay, I wanted this to be... That's what I want. Yep. Yeah, that works. Okay. Oh. Hold on. There we go. Generally, when I use borderless windowed, when I click off, the game doesn't go away. That's why I do that. Also, I like the fact that the mouse on the computer follows the mouse on my computer. That's pretty cool. Can I click on other things here? No. Can I click on the menu from here? No. Okay. Well, we'll begin the game. The end is never the end is never the end is loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Okay.
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Hey!
Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never
People say hi to him at work.
The company
People barely even say hi to me at work.
Complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So what's awesome about this is I've played the original Stanley Parable. And whoa. That feels a little more glidey. Cool. What does that say? Does that say I hate Mondays? I hate on days. Mondays. I see the M now. And what I learned is it's not just a HD like remaster of the game. No. Apparently there's more endings, more things to do. And we're gonna figure it out.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay. That computer was on. That's a trace of a co-worker. The narrator is off.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office.
Okay, he's right about
It didn't make
this.
a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I'm gonna touch everything. You can't stop me. Even though there's no one here and it almost... It almost seems like it's the end of the world. Huh. How do we get there? As I was saying, even though it seems like the end of the world, we should still conserve power. I tend to go off on tangents, I realize this. And then I stop midway through the tangent for another tangent. I want to go there.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
There's floods of like memories because it's been over a year or two since I played this, and like I'm remembering all the times I've just been like, nah, I'm not gonna do what you say, but this time I think we'll do what he says, kind of.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Get Chris out of the broom closet. Do I actually be able to find Chris? Fight the system. You're right. You're right, Zell. Tomorrow, complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda, reflect. That is very corporate. That's ultra corporate. The future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Synergy! Number of slides on this slide. Slides, charts and slides. How accurate is this? Who's clicking that? What do people want? Things, money, more money. Things bought with money to buy more things. Graphs. Graphs about things and money. That is facts. Just the facts, man. The stock market is somewhere here. Well then. So wait. It says to get Chris out of the broom closet. And I like how it says synergized papers, but papers are too synergized. There's a lot of synergizing. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergizing guy. Please keep the targets on top. On the topic of blank. Am I there? Jim. Who's Jim? 431 to Jim. Is Jim the boss? Where's Chris?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yep, sure. I guess I'm gonna get back on track.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't remember this. No, I do. I think. It's very white outside today. Executive bathroom. I don't remember this. To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. Extreme bathrooms. I like the idea of extreme bathrooms. I really don't remember the executive bathroom. Okay. Is your computer on? No, good. Secretary's good. Didn't keep her computer on. Saving power.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Oh, who could have orchestrated
Stanley
this?
couldn't possibly have known this.
There's no way I could know the number for this keypad. Maybe there's clues. To be honest, I've almost completely forgotten what that number is. Certificate of pompousness?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
There's no way I could know that the combination's 2845. Nope, not at all.
2845.
What's that? Oh, that's a reflection. Alright, fine. Guess I'll input 2845.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Oh my! This door just magically opened. How would I have ever known how to get in here? What kind of errors have happened? Oh my god. I'm just starting to remember things. I'm really starting to remember things about this game. Just like small things that don't make any sense. I guess that, yeah. Like not, well, the whole game doesn't make sense. Because I'm also partially...
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
I feel a bit
It was
peculiar.
a stirring of emotion in his chest.
Actually, I
as
do
though
feel
he
a bit
felt
peculiar.
More free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, as I was saying, part of me is getting
Stanley walked
confused.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Neat. Part of me is getting this confused with Superliminal and another game by the makers of the Stanley Parable. He said I went this way, so I'm going this way. A light, right? What's that
The
say?
lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh, what horrible secrets does this place hold? I wonder if I have the strength to find out. Yeah?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
Oh, this guy also
Stanley's
hates
coworkers.
Mondays.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And
Except there's
Stanley
no one
was
here.
One of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom
Fired.
meant nothing.
Is that me? Oh no, that wouldn't be me. Wait, where would Stanley's desk be? 427. There's my desk. Yeah, that's my office. All right. Cool. 104 was fired. Anyone else fired? Whoever that is. 601. Is that Jim? Don't tell me that's Jim.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
This can't be
Had
true.
Stanley really been under someone's
Can't believe it.
control all this time?
Who
Was
could
it
have me
really
under their
he was
control?
happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I accepted this job so blindly. It's
No.
not true.
He
It's
refused
impossible.
to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it
Yeah,
even possible?
completely
Had he
unthinkable.
truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Apparently he spent his entire life completely blind to the world.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content,
How does this
Walking,
work?
eating, working,
But
all
seriously,
of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Does
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
am I gonna
For
explode it all?
he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Apparently, I'm going to dismantle the controls once and for all. However, I'm questioning on how this whole entire place controlled emotions for everyone, unless it controlled everyone's emotions at the same exact time, or you just sent each person's control here one at a time, and like over a dozen people, that's wrong, would come in and control their emotions specifically. I know, I hit 5 first. Where's 4? 4's like up there somewhere, right? There's 4. How do I get up there? I can't get up to 4. I can get up to 4 later. Maybe. I guess. I don't remember. Mind control idle. Mind control's idle, awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
It's my duty. No, my obligation to put an end to everything that this stands for. What? Why do I have to answer if I played this game before?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
No.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere
There's light
moments
coming in.
away.
Why can't I see light
And yet,
shining on anything
even
else?
as the immense
There
door
it is.
slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
No, honestly,
But
I
as
just think fuck
sunlight
those guys. I
streamed
don't
into
care.
the
I'm just gonna
chamber,
go
he realized
into
none
the
of this
sunshine
mattered
with
to
the
him,
plants.
for it was not knowledge.
Good
or
morning,
even
Red. How you
power
doing today?
That he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would
I can't
anyone
jump.
tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Well, Airyberry, you... Nice. Okay. That's good. That's good. Well, Airyberry. I'm gonna call you Airyberry from now on, because I'm gonna be on YouTube mostly. You just got here in time for the end of the game!
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin.
But not really, because this is the
feeling
Stanley
of
Parable, and if you
the immense
were there
possibilities
last
of
time I
new
played,
path
and
before
remember,
him. This was exactly the
we're
way,
about to do this a bunch
right
more
now,
times.
that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy. Operative word. Was. We're about to make him not happy. Yeah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
All right.
missed a memo. No
Now,
matter how hard Stanley looked, he
free.
couldn't find a trace of his
I'm
co-workers.
free! I don't care what you're saying. We went through it. I have no idea if I'm supposed to turn these off or not. Wait, what? Hold on. Okay. That's interesting. Did I get all the computers? I'm gonna get all the computers.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office.
Shut up,
It didn't
you.
make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
It's making a difference. I know it is. You're lying to me. How dare you lie to me? 420. Just blaze!
When Stanley came to
Fuck you, I'm going right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes, I did.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I need to get in there. Okay. Gotta touch everything. All the things. He says I touched every little thing.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
That's not the right time. What's this?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room.
I can't tell what this says.
So utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings.
I want...
Really worth it.
Hey, what's the note say? Yeah, we're gonna be going through the end a bunch of times.
At this point,
Harry Berry.
Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy.
Oh,
On his overall
I thought that
personality.
was gonna say something
It's
completely
possible
different.
That this is why everyone left.
I wasn't listening. What? I was captivated by a cup that I thought was gonna say, "Whoa!"
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
I think the game's trying to send me a message.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Honestly, if my coworkers mysteriously disappeared, I'd be more worried and scared first before being sad. And then I'd be sad after I realized what's going on. Oh god, I thought I closed myself in here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
It's incredible you weren't fired years ago. Dick.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
He's lying
I
to me.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
What was that sound?
To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who's
She's
her?
been waiting.
I feel like I'm just following an old path that I've done before. I did.
That's her, Stanley.
I've given up the life of the
You
only
need to be
man's.
the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
As you can see in my description, the place not to follow me is only man's.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope.
I didn't
Hope for
pick
a
up the
life
phone.
reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness.
Nope.
Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
I did.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that?
I have
You
freedom.
actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible.
I've been doing it this
Double
whole
check.
time. You... Weird.
No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking
I'll
up
roll
the phone
you.
is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Oh, what the f... Is this different?
I can't
This feels
believe
new.
I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making.
How dare
You
you?
do not grasp the severity of the situation.
You
Well,
can
I
grasp
don't have
these
that kind of
nuts.
risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
This is different.
Please observe this helpful
I don't remember this.
video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people.
That's a good
Or
choice.
he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow
Okay,
the person
yeah,
to
that's
finish
fair,
their
yeah.
thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
My goodness, it's Is it 4:30? I'm supposed to have a back
Making
sack and
choices
crack.
on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making
That doesn't look
process.
like a good choice.
Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Hey Zane, how's it going?
Welcome back.
Okay, this is
You
different.
may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Okay. Hey Zane, how's it going? Totally get it. But apparently there's over 42 endings, so hopefully you stream it, because I don't think I'll be able to get through all 42 endings, and I can watch your decision making, and maybe you can watch mine later on the VOD, because that's going to stay on here. This is very different than the first time I played it, I think. I don't remember any of this. Or do I? Hey, hold on. This fence wasn't here.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story.
I remember doing that
would
once.
Make no sense at all.
wait,
We
what?
just need to get you home as
Where-
soon as
where are you?
possible
Where are you
before
taking me?
the narrative contradiction gets any
Oh,
worse.
you're bringing me over here.
Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Good. Thank you. Are you gonna make me go back through that door? Oh, is that why I can't jump? Dick. Alright. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Okay. There's one way I survived once, I think. I've jumped off and gone through those doors before. Okay. Just going on back. All the way back. Back to the beginning.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
I'm going to the closet. I'm going to stay in the closet. I'm staying in the closet this time.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow
Wait.
my lead and you'll be fine.
Can I?
All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Chris might be in the closet, but
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Oh, I think I made the right choice. No. We're too late. I'm here. I can't do anything this way. Is it? Wait a minute. Can I? Also, why are these windows? Wasn't that an office before? Chris might be in the closet, by the way. That's one of the things I'm concerned about. Chris could be in the closet, and I have no idea. According to...
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe after
According to
everything
this
we
board.
talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? Well, it's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it?
Yeah.
To know that my story is now incorrect?
Yes.
I go back to that.
For fun.
Raise that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever.
He's very annoyed.
Reliving its
He's terse.
impossibility forever.
Is that why you
I
were
couldn't
terse?
live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to
No,
shut
don't.
the game
Don't do it.
down. I have
Don't do it.
to. I
You can-
have to.
No, you don't. You have choices. Oh, this is interesting. Okay.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you.
Yep. Hi. How you doing?
Who thought you were so clever. Now
yes.
look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just
Kind
had
of.
to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows
little
how to
bit.
do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it.
You're.
That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it?
I mean, it
There's a
did.
world
I'm not gonna
outside
lie.
of you.
I thought about it.
You're a child.
I'm a grown-ass man.
My story. If you
a
just
grown-ass
gone
man.
through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a
What
whole
you doing?
underground facility. You
I'm a
would have
grown-ass man.
destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make
Try being a DM for D&D.
behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We know what I'm gonna do.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
Oh.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure.
Oh, wow,
you'll be
that-
up to the
that just
task.
straight up ended.
Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Is he only gonna open one?
he entered the door on his left.
Let me see. How many times can I do this?
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
The abrupt close
Behave exactly
almost
as
scares
Stanley
me.
would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
But if I do the logical thing like you're telling me to do, I can't get special powers.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
Okay. I'll go on the door on the
Behave
left.
exactly as
Fine,
Stanley
fine.
would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
I'm
All right.
sure.
When Stanley
I'm
came
sure
to
you're
a
much
set
more
of
used to
2
seeing
open
different
doors,
names
he
here.
entered the door on his left.
All right, fine. I'll go through the door on the left. You got it. It's. I'm going to the broom closet though. I'm staying there.
Yet there was not a single
I need to
person
get
there either.
Chris out of the
Feeling a
broom
wave
closet.
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Why is this locked? Why did you lock the broom closet? Chris is in here. I must save Chris. Or not. I guess not. I guess that's not a thing.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh. There was a down option before. My freedom has cost me choices. Wait, is this not... He took away choices. What the hell? Apparently Chris does hide in broom closets. Also, this is different.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it.
There's a
Surely
fly.
behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work?
How would we
There
put
was
it
only
in?
one
It
way
seems
to
like there'd be
find out.
someone on the other side.
Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown.
I guess
He
I have the
drew a
courage to
sharp
face the
breath
unknown.
and then spoke the code.
Do I actually say it? Nightshark 115. No? Okay. How?
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark
How?
115.
How do I
Spoke
speak the
into
code?
receiver.
I'm
right
here.
there on the wall.
I'm at the receiver. Nightshark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem?
I don't have a
You
voice.
mishear me, did you?
No.
Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Is this supposed to be a microphone that I have? Is this supposed to hear me?
Okay,
Hold on. Is there? Oh, good.
fine. You're not going to do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do.
I'm
asked
trying.
you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of
I'm
respect
trying.
Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously.
How dare you,
If
sir?
wanted to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You
I
could have
tried.
done whatever the hell you wanted over there.
I
Why
did.
You come this way. Speak.
Because you wouldn't let
Say
me.
something to me.
I'm saying
Defend
stuff.
yourself, you coward.
You're a coward.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right?
How did I get here?
Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something.
He seems so sad.
This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it.
Then you should have taken me out of Stanley.
Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay.
Oh,
It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
oh. I feel bad for the narrator now. I'm gonna stand up also because I'm tired of sitting down. Yeah, it's very upsetting. It's quite upsetting. I actually feel bad for that narrator. No.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Stanley decided to touch wherever the fuck he wants. There we go. Okay. What? That's a blatant point to a new content.
Oh, new content?
Yeah.
What does that mean, new content?
You tell me, you're the narrator. What is this? Does that mean everything I played so far is something that I should have remembered but didn't? Because there are points where I didn't remember and I thought I was playing some new content. What is... Oh.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yes, I do remember that.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was
I
expanded
love
upon
this.
in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe
Yeah, I believe it
features
is.
exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences
Ooh.
the world over.
A very
Please
Carnival
step inside
ride.
and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Some part of me feels like as soon as I walk through there, I'm just gonna be starting off in Stanley's office again.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
All right, narrator. Is there a button I push?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, there we go.
There it
All
is, yeah, take
finally,
dog-
at
yeah.
long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Hello, Mr. Caboose. How are you doing? I like the fact that we're both experiencing this adventure together, Mr.
The
Narrator.
initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content.
Oh,
Give me the
there it is.
content, Stanley.
Thanks for lurking, both you and Mr. Caboose and Zane. The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Can I jump outside the circle? No, I can't. It's only inside the circle I can jump. It's like I'm jumping rope at gym. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Alright, everybody. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm done. Fuck this. I'm out. Fuck it. Just kidding.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Oh, I have no more jumps remaining. Okay, I just can't jump anymore. I thought something else would happen. Oh god, I'm loving this.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just
Yeah.
elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
I guess
If this
so.
is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours
Please
of
do.
new content
I would-
right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box.
Do
The
it.
Stanley
I dare you.
Parable Ultra
You
Deluxe
won't. No
has
balls.
Over 1,000
Coward.
hours of new content, and oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes.
I
knew
want
there
to-
had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
I wanted to hear you count to 30 trillion. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off
I
on
like
this?
that. I like
I'm
this.
infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these
I like
people on
these
Twitter and hold
offended.
them personally accountable.
Do it. I dare you.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content.
I would love to
They
see
could never have lived up to such expectations.
their
If
Twitter
you're still with
actually
me,
having the
why don't we
narrator
just
on there.
Reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
Yeah, me not listening
No
to you.
frills, no gimmicks, just you and me having a great time together like always. What
Oh,
do you say, friend?
yeah, buddy. Let's do it. I half expected to walk through the elevator and just be at the desk. This is different. This is different.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Do you have candy? Okay. That's not candy. Coffee nut. What kind of nut is that? I have to cough. Alright, we're in the vents.
You remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be?
I
It
do.
got me thinking about the past and how
I wanna-
much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
I feel like I need to give you a
made
name
something special
instead of just
and
narrator.
tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
I'm gonna call you Fred. Alright, Fred, let's go. Frederic. Oh, yeah, you're right. You can't give me Hail Hydra promo. Wait. Can you? Hold on. I don't remember if I did this yet. That's not it. 1 second, 1 second. We'll get back to the game. But I think I might have made commands for that. Oh, I did not. I should do that next time. Yes. No, I'll do it next time. We will have those in the future. Anyway. Back to the game. I'm gonna come up with more
I
commands.
call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Wow, Fred. I didn't know you had memories. Alright. Show me your memory zone, Fred. Zone, sweet zone.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was
That's right,
before it
'cause-
was sullied with a
oh,
cheap
okay.
re-release? Remember back in October of 2013? When the
That's actually a
game was
National
relaunched?
Geographic.
Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all
Oh.
meant something.
I like that.
Oh, the waste.
I want a box like this. I don't know where I'd put it. I have no room for anything. But I would love to get a box like that. Wait, what's that say? British Academy of Film and Television Arts, Stanley Parable. The Last of Us. That is the not actual time. That's the time when I started the game. Okay. This is cool. Is this the first dollar this game had made? Smile because it happened. Don't be sad because it's gone. Smile because it happened. Wait. Debut game, story, game innovation. That's cool. This is cool. Oh no!
Je suis dans la même horizon, seul sur l'abri de l'eau, et je
Rip little Stanley.
plus que toi,
See, if I get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 view hours, I'll have emotes again, and we'll be able to do a lot more.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every
I like how he
game
put on a
ever
voice for this.
created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created.
Yes.
Just how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally
Apparently
every
little Stanley
game
was a
ever
hamster,
created.
and
It
he's
was
gone.
Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It
This
isn't
is the
even a
most,
Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk
meta
now,
of
a lifeless
deals of like
husk with an
game
hour of
expansions
new
ever.
elevator content.
What's that sound? Is that the door opening? What? The original remake? I feel like if I walk through there, the doors are gonna close. What's this? What's that say? Knowing your city. Is that significant? Okay. Maybe we can go back down through there later. Is that Stanley and his wife? I don't think we've ever seen his wife. I've never seen his wife. Okay, then close. Nope, there it is. The greatest wealth is memory. I wish I could just sit down.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice.
Remember
in
when game
games,
journalism
and one
was
that
a
offers
thing that
some of the
people
most
actually cared
enjoyable,
about?
surprising and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game
And
was
it wasn't
perfect.
just a joke to
It
most
didn't
people.
need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
I mean, that's... Okay, there were a lot of really good memories to this game. Sir, you opened a door with boxes in front of it and I can't leave. The Serious Room, 2013. Well, since you opened this door...
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
Ooh!
What's this? What's down here?
It's our maintenance hall. What the...
Oh no. God, no.
Oh.
Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam,
Oh.
the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh, nope. Just a vitriol. So much vitriol. Is this an actual one?
I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and
Hey, that's rude. He's actually pretty funny. I like the narrator. Fred, you're awesome. Don't listen to Buglivia.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable. But
Sure.
the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Exactly. Don't listen to Buglivia. Or
Okay, let's see what this one says.
Noodles
Well,
Shack.
the idea for the game is good. For someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not
Don't worry about
preachy,
it.
am I?
He couldn't even get a refund. He played for 3 hours. 3.1.
Goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me.
Don't worry about it, man.
Well, to be
Fred,
honest,
you're
I
good.
had
I
always
love your
thought of the
game.
game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks.
See, there's a good one here. They're recommending it. We can't read it, but
like a failure.
don't.
Like I let these people down.
No,
Perhaps the Stanley Parable.
Fred, no.
Quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Fred, no. It's an amazing game. Dude, don't listen to the reviews. Oh, what the? Why is this one singing?
What's this one got to say?
Cookie 9.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening.
I've never felt like I had to stop, Fred. No.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy,
He is very sensitive.
then maybe letting
Fred
him
is a very
skip
sensitive
ahead
man.
for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt.
Oh my God, what's
Well,
gonna
that
happen?
means we
What's
can
gonna
strike
happen?
These negative reviews
Oh.
on record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Okay. Sure.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking
No,
for,
no,
and
Fred,
I'm very
don't.
proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on
That's-
and on and on. No.
That's
no.
very
The
nice of
Stanley
you, Fred.
Parable is a game for the people. And if
Okay.
the people want silence,
Take care.
they like
Take care,
That's
Aaron
what
Barry.
they're
You have a
going
good
to get.
day.
Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend
Hope
that I've
today's
just
not too
begun
bad at the
an
office.
interminable monologue, and it goes something like this.
I'm
The
gonna wait.
story
Very
and the
much.
choices, or what
We'll see you next
happened,
time.
and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 200.
He's just gonna keep talking.
But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It
guess I
went
should just
on
press
for
it.
nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and
I
never
don't want
a
Fred to
moment
feel
before
bad.
lunchtime.
He's a very considerate man. He gave us a skip
Only
button.
thing there is.
It'd be rude not to use it, right?
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of
Oh,
course,
I see.
I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations.
You were saying
Not
blah,
that
blah,
I
blah,
can
blah,
use
blah,
it,
blah.
But if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise.
This is
Or
another thing you want me
maybe
to
a
skip on,
manifesto.
right?
Look,
Is
I'll
this?
outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think.
No, actually, yeah, fine.
So
Do
my
it. Go
theory
for it.
Is that any choice you've ever made is simply a
Okay.
series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already
Yep.
made, you bring that choice into
I'm
being,
dedicated to
then
listening to this,
by
Fred. I
making
swear.
your choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument
Yes.
to every
Oh,
person
yeah,
you've
I
ever
totally
been,
agree.
making every choice to
Is
which
that a
you've
fan?
ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought?
Give me a fan
or
like
rather,
this.
do all
Wait,
of the choices
where's the
you've ever
ventilation
made,
go?
in
Is
fact,
it a
make
ventilation
you
shaft?
more not
Sorry,
this kind of
Fred.
person,
I'm
and in
listening,
fact
I
do the
swear.
opposite. You
Hey,
see,
clock.
it could in fact be both of these things at once.
This still
That
isn't
you
the
are
right
both
time.
making choices and not making choices.
Okay, Fred, I'm
and
sorry,
They are both
but
affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the. Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you?
I guess so,
That's
yeah.
The power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption,
no.
it's right at your
You're proving
face
them right.
and Go, poof.
You're proving them right, Fred.
Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place.
They can, I
guess
think,
I should
or
become
give another
better
one.
educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, Surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review.
I think you can.
Because of
I actually don't know
this
either.
situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review.
Buddy,
so
you're
that the
making me
features
want to
are
use the skip button again.
No,
I don't want to. I don't want to do this to you. I know that what you're saying is relevant and very
beneficial. Something along the lines of
very
this
good
game
points.
is the best game.
Very relative
Let me start
and
over.
well thought out
How about
points.
this? From the ashes of
That was a skip.
rises. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30,
Where'd the door
45
go?
minutes.
The door's gone.
Not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at
Yeah,
any
kind
rate,
of.
I do suggest that we not press the button again.
You know I'm going
I
to do
think
it.
The skip button. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've
I
just
can't.
been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer,
Oh.
but they're really... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again.
Whoa.
Stanley, I think it's been a week.
Oh, about the plant set.
Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just
Is the
sitting
fence gone?
here,
No, the fence
not a
is here.
single person
Door's
to
gone.
speak with.
Band's
And you
here.
think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
I mean, yeah, I've never said
Would you think
anything.
that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking?
Yes.
But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm
weird.
realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening.
Good to
I
know.
needed there to be a vessel through
Hey
which
Chris,
my
how's it
words
going?
were moving.
We tried to get
It was
you out
the
of a broom
vessel
closet,
I
but
needed, Stanley.
I'm sorry.
The outcome
We couldn't.
of the
It
story.
just didn't
None
happen.
of that
We never were able to open
I'll
it.
give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe
what
I'm
is
not
that?
just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps.
Is that a fire alarm?
Yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it.
Sorry, Fred. There's nothing else I can do here.
Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much
Anything different?
time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you
Oh,
ever
whoa.
sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities.
Oh, is he gone? Did we skip too far? Fred? Where's Fred? They gave him tons of dialogue. Also, I named the narrator Fred because I felt weird saying narrator all the time. Is that a fire alarm or a carbon dioxide alarm? Yeah, that's the thing I didn't want to hear too much either. The clock's dead. Plant's dead. There's nothing but the button now.
But they didn't understand the game was
What?
never meant to be
Whoa,
funny. It was
whoa,
meant to have a
whoa,
point.
hey!
It was meant to speak to the human condition.
Fred,
but
what-
where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us.
Were you
It
sleeping
wasn't
this
enough.
entire
They had to
time?
leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then...
Did
he's
I come back
talking
to the
too much,
beginning?
They said, first, he didn't entertain us, now he
No,
won't
the
shut
plan's
up.
still
It's
dead.
the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability.
I feel like we're gonna find out that time is cyclical
Unwillingness to
here. Yes? button.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Fred's lost it.
The end is never.
Every other skip, Fred's talking. Wait a minute. Hey, there's water here. What? What's dripping? This doesn't seem good. If I skip again, is it going to be flooded? But yeah, this is the Stanley Parable. Ultra Deluxe. And this is the new content. Oh! How bad is this going to get? If I keep skipping, will it eventually... will the room be gone? Let's see. Let's find out. Let's figure... Daylight! What does that sound? Yes, new endings and stuff. Such as this. The skip button. Skip button's new. Oh. Oh. Hey. Yeah, it's not flooded. New life. I can't jump. I can't jump, so I can't get over this. To get to the button. Alright. Oh. Well, that's depressing. Skip, 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 skip. What horrendous thing is that? Should I wait and find out? Fred, where are you? It's kind of creepy. But, you know. Is that TV? Yeah, it's pretty much a horror game now. Come on. Come at me. Fight me! Well, I guess I can skip. Maybe if I skip, I'll fight it. The button's dead. What? Wait, if it comes out, or is it actually dead? I feel like the button's dead. Yeah, okay, button's dead. The world is titled. The world is titled. I wish I could jump. I would go up there. We skip to the end of the world. Hold on. Maybe the buttons come out and time is actually cyclical. No, it's not. It is not. That's not a thing that happened. I'm going to continue on now. Oh. Well then. We're back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You're gonna go to the meeting room. You missed the memo. Oh no. Wait, where's the computer that has input? That was an ending, yes. I think every time we go back...
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yeah, every time we go back to the office, it's basically an ending. Except when there's credits and we don't go back to the office right away. Those are also endings.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
That's new. Okay.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Is it another skip button? And of course I noticed your sign. It was gigantic and neon. Give me some credit, Fred. Please. Yeah, at least they told me where the new content was. That way? Oh. Another elevator, Fred? Really? The end is never the end. The
You
end
see,
is never the end.
I've
Is
been
loading.
reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy.
Okay, so what did you
forget
do?
This ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step.
What happened to the elevator?
further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Whoa. The end is never the
This,
end
you see,
again.
isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the
Am I
new
the
territory
receptionist?
we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel.
Okay.
An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Okay. Taste the sequel. Taste these
Calling it the
nuts.
Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the
It's
Stanley
Ultra and
Parable
Deluxe.
2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future
What up, Grant? How you
oriented.
doing?
It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Good. Excellent. You've been doing a lot of work, Fred. Is this what you've been doing as I've been skipping? More TSP, better TSP. Win-win. Paradigm shift, synergy, brick and mortar approach. That's not a paradigm shift. I think it basically kind of is. Oh, nice, Darrell. Which video was that? You can post that in videos? Oh. Cool. Alright.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I
Scrums!
figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work
I like
itself
that.
out.
Who
Game
took the red
development
marker?
is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Alright, show me the new features. New content. Why is there a bus here? Fred, Red Fred, you know. But.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Hear your name in the game. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. What?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course,
Actually,
first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and
That's a nipple.
validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Don't worry, Madamus. We all are. Especially Fred. Fred seems very confused at what he's doing. I thought that was an air purifier, not a planter. Technically, it is an air purifier.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here.
Oh,
let's
thank
have
you.
the role
You
player's
just
Jim
keep
to
calling me
really
Stanley.
simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it.
Excellent.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
All right.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim. Sleeping and
yeah.
waking as Jim.
Yeah, okay. I can see it.
Falling in love and being heartbroken
Okay,
as
I'm Jim.
Seizing all
This is
the
character
world's
play.
possibilities
It's like a
as
little bit
Jim,
of,
and as Jim watching your dreams crumble
what's it
into
called?
dust. Do you feel it deeply?
Yes.
Are you really, truly
feel it.
Jim right now?
It's a
If
little
so,
improv-y.
Then please step
Yeah.
forward and press the button.
I'm Jim. I am Jim. Welcome, everyone. This is Jim's stream. The Jim stream. Yes.
You see?
Yes, I
What a
see.
thrill, what a rush.
I see,
Good.
Fred.
The button describes
Excellent.
you. Do it again. Do it again.
Jim.
It hits even harder the
Does.
second time. If this
I
were the
am
only
Jim.
new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. let's take a break from the gym button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of
All
this
right, yeah.
personal validation.
Madamus doesn't want to date a Jim, so we're good. I can stop being Jim. Hold on, just take a moment. I was very into the method acting of it. And see. No longer Jim. See? Acting! Alright, anyway. Where do I go now? What? This door? See, Jim would know where to go. I have no idea what's going on. Yes, I'm now Mark again.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable too. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Please no screenshots. Oh, red is the new orange. Ray trace, more of the same, but in a good way. Sequel to the... Okay, interesting. The jump circle and the infinite hole. Is that Stanley? Who is that? Is that Stanley's wife? Is that what she's thinking of, Stanley? The new content is riveting. I am at 5. I'm here. I'm at this map. Q's free achievement. Where's that at? That corner? Is this the free achievement? Oh.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game.
Can I get that?
In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
That's creepy. Kinda weird. Don't touch me. I thought you said you didn't want to see a number go up. There we go. Where's my achievement?
It is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Was that the free achievement? I guess. Yeah, we went to the button that says the name. Or did I go to merch? No. Where's the infinite hole on here? Setting World Championship? So wait. Facing the map. Should I go that way? I mean, I guess I could take a look at the infinite hole. Oh, that's K. Where's K on this map? Oh. Okay, so that's K. So if that's K, this map doesn't make any sense because K should be behind me. I did not get an achievement at all. Wait, if K is supposed to be... Oh, there! The giant sign that says free, new, and easy achievement. Okay.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident?
Yeah,
well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley.
You still lied!
It will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
$9.99. That's a deal. Much better deal than this scam achievement that I did not get. The truck.
What
the jump
else?
circle.
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet? You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
I did.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Really, Fred? You can't just give me more jumps? I guess we'll check out the infinite hole. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of twos. There's a lot of twos. Distant future, infinite, time like infinity. Distant past. Hole like infinity. Oh, well then. Rim. Depth infinite. Surrounding area. Very, very in-depth diagrams. What the? More hole. Of course, of course. There's always more hole. That's what she said.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact,
Has it not?
that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap
How would I
forward for
stop?
video games as a medium.
Oh. Why did the ceiling come down? Okay. That's my only reference point to know if I'm falling.
Isn't it
Oh,
wonderful? One
there's
of my
walls
more
now.
ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
I'm good here.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
No, I'm good.
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
I'm okay. I'm enjoying a drink. It's fine.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite
Wait,
nature
what?
of the hole.
Excuse
It's
me?
a very, very deep hole. To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity.
Well-
from one perspective,
Well, Fred-
the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever.
I just wanted to enjoy a
I think what
beverage,
you
Fred.
fear is just
I
that
thought
you're
I had
unusually
time.
Fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely?
Someone who
I
wants to enjoy a
figured the hole
beverage.
was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Hey, listen, just because you made an infinite hole that wasn't infinite, it's not my fault.
We both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button
No.
to warp up to the top of the hole, and we can move on.
Fred, I disagree.
Up here when you're ready.
All right. I disagree. You can't be mostly infinite. It's either infinite or it isn't. If there's an end, that's finite. That's the exact definition of finite. There's an end. Also, there's a lot of cigarette butts here. You stressed out, bud? Every pause button is a Roman numeral 2. I like that. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. Alright, what's this? Good, good. All meetings are at 2 p.m. Alright, well. New mug. I believe I've done everything I can in this hole. I don't think he's gonna talk to me anymore. Okay.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Alright. Just go back upstairs? Yeah. Why did you teleport me here? Why did you just tell me teleport me back? What is that? Why didn't you teleport me back into the room? Aw, you dick. Music? What was that? I I feel like Jack Skellington when he discovered the Christmas
I'll
world.
be honest, I haven't
What's
yet
this?
decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
I'm gonna go with Get Well Someday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along.
Oh, you dick.
Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
You butthole. Why even ask? That was fast. I mean, I know you're
Actually,
this
maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
That talks a lot. Can I get merch? I would love a shirt. I would like that shirt. This t-shirt is the new best feature. It was the best new feature. Sorry. I can read. I want that shirt. Oh, what? The Stanley Parable 2 Reassurance Bucket. Okay.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played.
There's no bucket here, Fred.
I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket.
What's the sound?
You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket,
Oh.
a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's
But how do I get the bucket?
as long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes,
I could
the
actually.
bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Oh, I didn't even see the QR code.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I
Oh,
think that
thank you.
just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Are you saying I'm
The
ugly,
benefits of the
sir?
bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more.
I need to start carrying a
in
bucket
the
around.
Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, hold on. If I wear Stanley's clothes, which is basically a white button-up and
Does anyone give out a
Black
word
slacks.
for most enjoyable bucket in a video?
carry
game?
on a bucket, do you think
That
anyone
really
would get
should
that
be
I'm
an award
cosplaying
if
as
it isn't
Stanley?
already.
Oh, that QR code. Let's see, shall we? It is. The official website for the Stanley Parable 2 game. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. We're gonna look at this real quick. Here's the site. This is the site it takes you to.
Say there, Timmy. What's that you're enjoying? Why, it's breakfast, of course. Everyone loves breakfast. But did you know that breakfast is getting a sequel? That's right. It's called...
Is it called Lunch?
And
I knew
critics
it!
are raving that lunch will be everything breakfast
Who would have
was
guessed?
and more.
Lunch.
With a little luck, we may even get a trilogy series out of it.
Dinner.
Say, you know what a sequel is, don't you, Timmy? Why, sequels are the world's way of clinging helplessly to the past. We all want more of the things we love, and we're all afraid of change, which is what makes sequels so popular. New ideas are dangerous, Timmy, and they can lead to early aging.
Wait, hold on.
This
Why?
eager-minded young thinker
New
is
ideas
just
are good.
29 years old. That's why we have sequels, to keep us couched in the familiar and the comfortable.
Sequels are the bedrock of a healthy, functional
That's
society.
so weird.
And if you look around you, you'll find them everywhere you go.
Yeah,
For
I'm sure.
instance, this man is developing a sequel to the automobile.
No,
which
he's
we'll
not.
call
It's just
the
a...
vertical automobile. It's a useless, impractical invention. And in 2 days' time, the man will be publicly stoned to death for his crimes against gravity.
Hey,
Not
what?
all sequels are heretical nonsense, however. Here's the man who invented breathing, which is the sequel to suffocating and dying a slow death. Even
I
your
mean,
parents
okay,
are
yeah,
getting
that's a good
to.
sequel.
Their names are Rob and Jessica, and they'll be taking
Jessica.
care of you once your original parents are sent back in time to fight a secret war for the government. Sequels can be very fashionable. This young woman is wearing 5 shirts at once, which is the sequel to wearing 4 shirts at once. Look at Becky.
That's
over
the sequel
there,
to wearing 3
only
shirts
2
at once, right?
Get with the times, Becky. In
Yeah,
fact,
Becky,
there is
Jesus.
only one single thing in the world
Get your
that
shit
isn't a
together.
sequel. It's this.
What is
we
that?
don't know what it is or why it exists,
Why-
but it's the prequel.
What is that?
Sequels.
Why is that an invention?
And just like everything else, the
What was the purpose of that?
A sequel too. We all know, of course, that it was your favorite game as a child. Don't you remember those long, lazy afternoons you spent playing the Stanley Parable? Watching
Yeah, I
your
do,
precious
actually.
youth
Yeah, all the
fritter
time.
away hour
Just
after
my
hour.
entire youth. That's
We've
all I
wasted
did.
our childhoods in one way
For the past
or another.
9
and you
years.
were fortunate enough to get to waste yours on the Stanley Parable.
I was
But
very
the Stanley
fortunate.
Parable came
Sure.
out years ago, and you're not a child anymore. You're a man, which is like the sequel to a
Damn
child.
right I am.
And as a man, you want manly things like taxes and cheating at baseball.
Wait,
You
no,
want
I don't want
man
taxes
to
or
do
cheating at
too.
baseball.
And that's why the Stanley Parable 2 will be perfect for you. It's as manly as video games can get. And if you don't
Oh.
believe me,
Well,
let's look at the burly hunk of a man who's responsible
Forget
for
battle
the game.
ropes. I'll just play Stanley Parable
Here he
2.
is, hard at work. His name is Gregory 8-Pack, and he's the cutting picture of raw,
Oh, yeah.
virile masculinity.
Gregory
Gregory is
Apex.
what we call the ideas guy, and he has the most important role
Dare
on
you.
the team. The
Fight me.
ideas guy tirelessly comes up with interesting concepts and then hands them off to the rest of the developers for the relatively simple job of turning those concepts into reality. For example, he's the one who picked up the phone and declared, "Someone ought to make a sequel to the Stanley Parable." Good work, Gregory. Go ahead and take the rest of the day off. With
Screw
the hard
you,
part out of
Gregory.
the way, work
I'm
on the
coming for
game
you.
can now begin. The game's developers must answer a simple question. What
That's-
makes
that's
a
bad.
sequel in
That's
the first
bad if he's a
place?
predator.
Well, it's simple. Sequels are an opportunity to correct the mistakes of their predecessors. We've all made mistakes, and we've all
Predecessors.
caused harm to someone we love in order to
Because
cover up
Gregory
our
Apex
mistakes.
is a predator.
When developing this particular sequel, it's important to start by thinking, what mistakes did
I would
the
like to
original
not be
Stanley
a sequel
Parable
to
make?
Gregory Apex.
Well, first off, most of the pornography in the original game was stolen or
Wait,
pirated.
what?
And it's time we paid the licensing fees fair and square. Second,
Pornography?
the Stanley Parable was catastrophic for this man named Leroy, whose personal information, including home address, social security number, and bank information, were all displayed prominently in multiple locations throughout the game.
Well, fuck
Although
you,
Leroy's
Leroy.
money and identity were stolen, the fact remains that his personal information was the emotional core of the game and absolutely vital to a nuanced
What?
understanding of the story.
I don't remember
As
that
a
at all.
reparation for the harm we caused him,
Not
the
at all.
sequel will contain a brief and insincere apology to Leroy, tucked deep within the
How long
game
is this video?
where it will be difficult to find.
Oh.
Finally, the Stanley Parable made the mistake of leaking too many government secrets about the nature of the Time Wars. Without these intricate details of specific military
Hold on, Time
tactics,
Wars?
the story is likely to make very little sense. But we've decided
I'm
to
about to
remove
drink
them
my
from the
drink.
sequel in the interest of helping the state's efforts. We'll get to you yet, Time Dracula. Now then, it's time to set about constructing the Stanley Parable 2. Game development is a difficult and complex art.
Yes, it
one
is,
which can
actually.
only be
I've-
fully understood
I've
by
been
its
part of that
race
process.
hyper-intelligent child soldiers bred in laboratories. They begin by studying the original Stanley Parable. Here it is in its raw, untouched form.
I think
a
he did say
specimen
Time
of
Dracula,
technological perfection. Time to exploit it for profit. We begin by adding
kinda cool.
jokes. The Stanley Parable was most widely known for its stark lack of humor, bucking all conventional industry wisdom. It was a bold artist statement that its
Yes,
developers
very,
stood
very
firmly
bold
behind.
statement.
But in 2022, it's impossible to reach even a single consumer of video games without jokes
Excellent.
of some kind.
Yeah.
So very well,
Everything must be
jokes
funny these
It'll
days.
be.
Nothing can
During
be
its
serious.
development, over 500 kiloliters of comedy will be funneled directly into the core of the Stanley Parable
That was a
2,
piston.
creating jobs for hundreds of machine operators and producing 30,000 tons of pollutant
I wanted to make a
chemical
joke about being
byproduct,
pissed
which will be pumped directly
about a
into
piston.
local lakes, rivers, and
I couldn't
beautiful
think of
nature
one.
reserves like these all over the country. Another common complaint of the Stanley Parable is that there wasn't enough gameplay. And so for the sequel, its developers have gone to
Okay,
great
yeah,
lengths to
sure.
fix this problem. Here we can see gameplay being printed onto sheets. Every video game contains as many as
This is
1,000
amazing.
sheets of gameplay.
This is amazing.
And several of the
That's
largest
some
games
big
ever made
gameplay right
contain
there.
Close to 1,500. On mobile devices, the gameplay sheets have to be printed smaller. For the Stanley
Oh,
Parable
that's true.
2,
That's
as
fair.
many as
That's fair.
35
You can't
new
cram that much
gameplay
gameplay into
sheets
the
are being
smaller
printed,
consoles.
each of which must be delicately massaged by the hands of a child before being added into the game. This man is
Wondrous,
stealing
wondrous.
gameplay sheets from the factory, which
Okay.
he likely intends to use for a personal project he's been developing in his spare time. A good public stoning will cure him of that inclination.
What's with the public
Let's check
stonings?
on Gregory real quick. Ha! Still recovering from a hard day's work. Don't you move a muscle. Next up, it's time to
Why so many
blackmail
public
the
stonings?
press. In a competitive market, blackmailing your local journalist can be one of the most effective methods of creating
Why not
word-of-mouth
private
buzz
stonings?
for your sequel. In fact,
That's how a lot of
blackmail
my
is the
friends enjoy
currency of
420.
social progress. From your neighborhood grocer to the teacher at your school to the man who helps you steal HBO, everyone responds to blackmail. And if you've never done it
Blackmail.
before, it's easy to practice at home on your friends and family.
That's racist.
Simply follow the instructional pamphlet that your teacher hands out after the end of the film. And finally, there's one last tool at our disposal for making the sequel feel fresh
Is it
and exciting.
racing?
And that's packaging the game with
Because that's
collector's
also
edition
racist.
merchandise. If you order the Stanley Parable,
what are they
2,
doing to these
you'll
eggs?
receive this cow's egg. A single egg will produce over 1,000 cows, which are, of course, the sequel to pigs. And there you have it. Everything there is to know about producing the Stanley Parable.
Cows don't
2.
have bacon.
Of course,
I prefer
you
the
may know
original.
that there is also a game titled The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. So which game is the true sequel to the Stanley Parable? It's an excellent question, Billy. One which the child soldiers have been working round the clock to come
Wait,
up with
what?
an answer to.
Why?
And after many weeks of
Are
diligent
child soldiers
research,
the sequel
conclusion
to
they've
adult
reached is,
soldiers?
who gives a shit? All that matters is that it's more content for you to cram down your insatiable gullet. You don't want thoughtful and nuanced answers to complex questions, Billy. You just want to eat bubble gum and cheat at hopscotch. So get out there and consume.
Hey,
do your
I am-
civic duty and bully your parents.
I
into buying
I
every
play
version of the
hopscotch
Stanley
very
Parable
legally
2
within the
on
rules.
every
I'm a
platform.
very honest
Tell
hopscotch
your
player.
friends to bully their
I wouldn't even
parents
know
as
how to
well.
cheat,
It's through
'cause I don't
community
know how
efforts
to
like
play
these that
hopscotch.
the world comes together.
What are the rules? I thought
in
you just hop
harmony
between
and
boxes.
connection. And it's only through this connection
really?
that we'll defeat Time
like that move,
Dracula
though.
once and for all.
Time
Don't
Dracula,
let the
yeah.
time-traveling vampires win. Buy the Stanley Parable 2 and pledge to support all sequels for today, tomorrow,
Wait, what?
and into the great unknowable beyond.
Okay. Oh, poor Billy. That's a big 3-year-old. Yeah, that's the site. That is the site. Okay. Yep, you gotta purchase all sequels. We've gone through all the office decorations. Have I been through office decor? We have been through office decorations. That's the balloons. That's what Stanley looks like. We have to stop the time vampires. You're correct. We will always have to stop the time vampires. So A9. What's A9? Collectibles. I've been through the collectibles. If a whole epilogue. 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 Is that the epilogue? Hold on. I get confused. Epilogue's that way, right? Right? Because if K is there, that's the infinite hole. That means... Is this way? Am I here? Or am I facing like this? No, I'm not facing like this. Because... This map's confusing because it's not oriented in the way it should be to me facing the frickin' map. Otherwise... Hold on. I gotta get my bearings. Free achievements over there. That means I'm facing this way on the map. So the semicolon is around the wall and to the right. No, that's the name button. Where's the name button? B. No, okay, yeah. I was right. So there's the name button. That means the epilogue is somewhere over here, right? Is this the epilogue? Yeah.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley?
Yeah, it would.
Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Okay. Setting world champion. Oh, yes, yeah. Let's go with the setting world champion. Oh. Okay, that's locked. We can't go there. Good to know. I think we've explored everything. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've gone through those. Yeah, we've done everything here. This is a nice exhibit. I like it. We can walk away from this now. Good to leave. I'm glad to leave.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Yes,
Ready
yes, I
to
believe
move
that.
on now?
I have the bucket. I'm happy. I'm gonna go teleport bread for the next 3 days. New mug. Is this the
So,
infinite hole
Stanley,
again?
what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Can I sit down, please?
Okay. Are you ready?
Okay,
Here
yeah.
it is. I give you the
Sure.
Stanley Parable 2.
This just the exhibit hall.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of...
Sure, yeah,
Okay,
why not?
never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better.
I like the
comfortable.
first arrangement,
Here
actually.
we
It's
go.
completely fine.
Version 2.
That's better? No, that's
Who am I
worse.
kidding, Stanley?
It's
This
worse.
isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags.
I like that
And
the
do
jump
very much
circle
enjoy
isn't
creating
in a
gags,
hole.
but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No
Give
matter
me
how
choices.
good these gags are, they won't stand on their own.
Just
They
give me
would
choices.
need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it.
Are you
I
gonna send
could
me
take
the...
the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original
You mean
game.
ultra deluxing it?
Possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2.
Or ultra deluxe?
Let me see if I can whip something up.
Show me. Show me what you've got.
All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh, what the... Okay. I like it. Looks good.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building.
The
where he was
balloons!
Employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple.
Dear God.
He sat at his desk in room
Dear God.
427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what Employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Yeah,
Although
it is.
others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Mm-hmm. Because, you know, he probably was.
Happy.
I bet he was.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
Are you ultra
Something he would
deluxing
never
us,
quite
Fred?
forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that
Dear
not
God, Fred.
one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even
I
say
love that the balloons are
hi.
there.
Never in all
Now
of
show
his
me where the
years of
infinite hole
company
is,
had
and I'm
this
going to jump
happened.
into it again.
This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Yep. All right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yep, that's new. The bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
I totally missed it the first time I walked through.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, yeah, we'll go with it. Oh, I was expecting the new content door.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now
See,
more
we
than
need
ever.
to get Chris out of
Perhaps
the
his boss's
out of the
office
broom
was where
closet.
he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's
No,
supposed to
that's
go
mine.
with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
I won't.
I know how hard it must be, given the
It's my
pressure
bucket.
that the broom closet is
How dare
putting on
you.
your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong.
How dare
This
you,
is
broom
your
closet?
bucket. This is your companion.
This is my friend.
A lifelong friend.
My lifelong friend.
Can't hand it over.
It's no.
We
No.
need a name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you
I'll
to
kill
hand
you.
over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your
Dare
relationship
you.
is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which
Never.
happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing
Is this
manner?
the Portal
Well,
2
I'd never.
reference? Or
Go
Portal
on, Stanley.
reference?
Lay into
Portal
it.
reference.
Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences.
You don't
and the
understand,
bucket
broom
have shared
closet.
together. Go
This
through
bucket
each
and
of
me,
them point by
we're lifelong friends.
Share your
We've
journey
been through
into
so
detailing
much.
the rich emotional landscape
Exhibit
of
Hall
your
and Stanley
feelings
Parable 2.
as they have changed
And so on and so
over the
forth.
years. Let him have it.
I did. I let him have it. But yeah, I wouldn't trade this for the
Okay,
companion
I've
cube.
got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
There we go.
Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a
Friendly.
hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Yeah! Shove it up your broom closet ass!
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Fred, now you're just insulting my intelligence. I know that I'm holding a bucket.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Excellent, excellent. I bet the bucket does have a list. Should I leave? I remember there being an ending if I just stay in the closet the whole time. But now I'm in the closet with a bucket. How long would I have to stay here to find out? How long is too long? These are the things I wonder about sometimes. Like, should I really just leave? It feels like I should. And now we wait. Fuck it. Fine, you win. But I'm going downstairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Hey!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You
Excellent.
can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried.
Excellent.
So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these
It's
beautiful,
beautiful.
figurines.
It's wonderful. It's gone. Alright.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
Why is there an
why had he
8086
taken
here?
that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket.
Am I crazy,
The bucket
bucket?
returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
I
That's
like-
strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
What?
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's
It's just the
bucket?
property
This
of
is all
Stanley.
terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this.
My
Who
bucket!
knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
My bucket, where'd you go?
Now he noticed the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it.
The hell?
Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
The bucket's calling me.
Stanley, it's me, the bucket. Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
No.
Come to me,
No.
Stanley. Find me.
Where's my
He
bucket?
had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his
Where'd he go?
sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside
Whoa.
him all along. It was incredibly painful.
What?
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh, wait, what? Hold on.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place.
But our bucket's within us.
How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought. And she
the real bucket's been the friends we made all along.
But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Oh, that's impressive. Okay. All right.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through the wall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Except that all their computers were on and says the end is never the end. Is never the end, is never the end. Figurine Finders Committee.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Our stickers. They're back.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, let's see what happens when we get to the end. This is different. Oh, larger. This is the location. This is the location for all of them. Looks like 427. Large room, lots of boxes. I don't know where that one is, but I can tell where 5 and 6 are. Kind of?
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Alright, Fred, fine.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Executive bathroom.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
I like mini stands.
What about
Stanlerines?
Yes, I think
yeah!
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Okay. Yep. Wait. I got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Say, that's a lovely purse. Fireplace.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Ah, lovely
Even
bucket.
now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Yes, we are
At
inseparable.
this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
I like the changes in
Nor in
dialogue.
his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
All right, yeah, I get it. We played through that part.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding
Okay, I thought it'd be in this fireplace.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
What's a room that's both red and blue? I have no idea. I feel like sitting down again, though. So, here we go.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment
I was
of
hoping that the
uncertainty,
elevator would
he
stop at the same
be
time my
right.
desk stopped.
The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Excellent. At least I'm off the elevator.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Although this
No, it didn't.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
No! Great.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn
I will
around
fight
and
whatever's
get back
coming
on
after
track.
me. There's no death
Stanley and
too
the bucket were
violent for
knowingly
me.
walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
You're gonna have a very painful death. The infinite hole. Oh, right. The crushy thing. I totally forgot about this.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Who's this? What? Oh, okay.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are raging to no
I died
way,
too.
but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
I was there too, lady. Come on. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, a human mind is frequently empty within. A cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learned here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of the exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? I don't know. Apparently this is an exhibit about buckets.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. Inferno bucket, a replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket. The bucket with two handles. This bucket is depicted as having two handles, which such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Are they put to death, or do they die from attempting to do it? Where's the infinite hole? Cave drawing. Cave drawing. While we know the buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasure.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
Excuse you.
It is man who should know.
I was going to monologue about buckets. There's a lot of velvet rope here. It's kind of weird. Oh. The infinite hole. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However, clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. Well, what the? Oh. I thought I was gonna fall.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Who are you? I'm gonna call you...
Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game.
Teresa.
Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together.
Hi,
the
Magnus.
bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Okay. All right then. I've died because of buckets.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Yes, I have my bucket now. It's all good.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his
We're
left.
going to the right this time.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Suck my
And
bucket,
here it
Fred.
was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Stanley did no such thing. Stanley continued on his way through the rooms.
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
How did I get down there before? Did I land on the trucks? I feel like I landed on the trucks.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now,
But Stanley feared that any
Nope.
path he walked might lead to the separation
Oops.
of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend.
I
So he threw himself to his death.
I
that
don't
they might
remember how I
die
got
in
down
one
there
another's
before.
Arms. How deeply touching.
took a chance. Don't look at me like that.
All of his co-workers were gone.
It's like Inception.
What could it mean?
thought
Stanley
it'd get me out
decided
of
to go
this.
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
I like the increased dialogue from the bucket, okay? That's why I keep taking it. Don't worry about it.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was
Okay,
wrong.
yeah.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, Stanley did not.
No, said the bucket.
Don't
No.
go to the meeting room. Go
No.
somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Is that
Stanley
where I
did
jumped
not
off?
question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
I'm
It should
gonna
have
do this
alarmed
route
him,
first.
Of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Danger everywhere. It's awfully quiet, Fred, to be...
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
I thought it'd be fine.
What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose
there's-
that would explain a lot about your behavior.
There's a
up to
sticker.
this point.
It shows me what a bucket
That's
is.
true. Well, my goodness. I think we have to do something about it.
Oh my
This
God.
misunderstanding
Are you gonna show me
could
another
have dire
tutorial?
consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly.
You're showing me a
So
tutorial about
much of
buckets,
the
aren't you?
impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't.
This is a very
bucket.
bucket-centric game now.
Step in here for a moment.
But, oh, okay. The fuck is going on?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay, yeah.
Simple enough, right?
I know what buckets
This
are.
should tell us everything we'll ever need
I
to
know
know
exactly what
about
buckets
what
are.
is
How
or
dare
is
you.
not a bucket.
How dare you assume I don't know what a bucket is?
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
You can't trick me.
Correct. It is
What?
a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
I knew it! I'm brilliant!
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Again, you can't fool me.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Yeah, see? Real buckets have stickers of buckets on them, so you know it's a bucket. Exhibit A.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
But where's the sticker?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor.
No, it's a
an
bucket.
enormous machine that tills the earth.
It's
I
a
thought this was
bucket.
gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible.
No, it's a bucket!
Let's
You can
just
put
move
stuff
on
in
to the
it!
next
There's a
one.
hole in the top!
Is this a bucket?
Oh, you're not tricking me twice.
Correct. This is a bucket.
See? I told you. It's a bucket. Can't fool me.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
How dare you?
Item
Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
It's just us. It's just us that comes out next.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here.
There's
And
a
I don't
bucket right
appreciate
there.
The implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore
I don't know
nothing
that.
could possibly
You can't
be
prove me
something.
that. You can't prove
Unless,
that.
in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight,
Fred.
Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Fred. A bucket can be anything and nothing at all. The void within the bucket makes the bucket useful and therefore a bucket itself. You can't tell me that if a bucket is full that it's still a bucket. It has no longer a use as a bucket. The nothingness of the bucket itself makes a bucket a bucket.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence.
Told you.
And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
What is your mind
Stanley,
if
I can't
empty,
keep
if
doing
not a
this.
bucket?
I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry.
No, what?
I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Okay, here we go.
No! Not the buckets.
What happened? Is everything gone?
See, I
Why
told
did
you.
everything disappear? Wait,
Everything.
was everything a bucket?
Everything's
Every
a
single thing in the
bucket.
game was a bucket.
I was trying to
My
tell you,
God, I
Fred.
had no idea.
Everything and
Except
nothing
me.
at the same
I'm not a
time
bucket after all.
is a bucket.
And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either.
Oh.
This is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much
Well-
more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here
All
we
right,
go.
everybody in stream. Remember, don't tell anyone that everything's a bucket. Got it? Good. Okay.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
And also
And
a
here
bucket.
it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Or did we?
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Okay.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want
I don't
more of
remember
their
the
favorite
giant
jokes,
baby.
not this bucket that they've never seen before.
No, okay, no, I remember the baby
Yes,
now.
I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending
Yeah.
too much time with it.
Shut
You
up.
want another story involving the Adventure Line?
I mean,
we could make
yeah,
the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
What if I did this? No? Come on. Say something. Fine. Follow the adventure line.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Okay, you're getting me. I'm liking the adventure line. The adventure line's...
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Where's the
Do you
music?
remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. What would you want me to give up? There's nothing to give up. I have nothing. But the bucket. And the bucket is everything. The bucket is all.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Well,
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
How dare you, Fred?
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to
It
spell
makes
out for you.
cupcakes.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
No.
And then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Never. I'll never be ready. Destroy the machine first.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
No.
I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket.
It'll destroy
Destroying
you.
buckets is all it knows.
It's
That
a bucket.
is its singular personality trait.
Hey, Zane, how's it
I
going?
can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not.
No,
I
what?
wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this.
None.
Okay,
The bucket's
the Bucket
lovable.
Destroyer is getting very upset
The
now.
Bucket
You'll have
Destroyer
to
can
hurry and feed it.
suck a
We can't
bucket.
get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the
Never.
fans. Stanley, give the fans what they
I'll
want.
never
Hurry.
betray the bucket. Uh-oh. Secret is
Bucket
everything is a
Destroyer.
bucket.
My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
Is this
From
from
the
Legend of
moment in
Zelda?
time that you were here, you were magnificent.
You suck a bucket. Well then.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it.
What?
If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Where? Who is it? Who is it? Where are you? How dare you follow me?
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Damn right.
Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Shut up. You don't pick up well on cues from your environment.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket
I say
calling
no.
to him,
I'm going-
telling him that the employee lounge
For a second,
was
it sounded
simply
like it
the
opened.
place to be.
I'm gonna continue clicking every door.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
I closed the door on my left because you suck dicks.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
What I found?
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines. And now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies.
Stanlerines, man. Stanlerines.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness
Stanlerines.
that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1?
Stanlerines.
I'm sure it will come to me.
Stanlerines. Will this kill me? I feel like that would kill me. Isn't it a safer way to get down?
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
I don't know what a red and blue room is. Because, what the fuck? Oh, hey, hold on! I didn't...
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to
That's
his
the problem with
chest
Figlies.
and
They roll
entered
off
the
your
door
tongue.
on his left.
I want every word to coarsely and violently leave your tongue the way that Stanlerines
This
does.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left
There's more...
to go back to the meeting room.
There is a way to get down.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
There is a way
the cargo lift,
to
yes.
get down
go
there.
there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh, what? Is this it? Where am I? I don't think I've ever been here before. I don't know if I have. Is... Huh? What?
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost
What is
track.
this?
Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense.
None of this makes sense.
There's no explanation for it.
You're not Fred.
Still,
Why is it set to
haven't figured
reverse?
out why I see the world so differently when this bucket
Maybe.
is in my arms. Why everything feels so...
This could be Stanley's voice.
What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
How?
Yes.
No.
It's
You're cheapening the relationship with the
amounts of
bucket.
money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket.
We see.
But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know.
Why does it
who
sound
I'll be
like...
trying to get? What's that? Who's there?
What the hell is a Gambarata? Okay. Sure. Sure thing, bud. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket.
Best
a bucket
bucket
of
ever.
culture and distinction.
Okay. Alright.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
I'm trying to figure out this one thing.
Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Because I swear
No,
there's a...
said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Swear there's a way to
the
get down there.
cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
I haven't tried going that way. I don't think I can. Cause like, yeah, we can walk off this. Gone that way. What if I went that way without the bucket? Heresy. That's what that is. There's no other way, right?
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days?
Let's see.
Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made
No,
a note to
nothing
be
crucial
more
happened.
careful
We're
with
good.
time from now on.
I've never...
The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship
Okay,
that stands
I
the
do want to
test of
see
time.
where the other Stanlerines are.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I do want to see where the other Stanlerines are, because that's the list. Nearby a fireplace. Ooh. Shut the frick up. No, not that. There's 6 of them. Okay, no. I'm very curious where... Red room, blue room. It's a red and blue room. Some are both red and blue. And nearby a fireplace. The only fireplace I know is in the boss's office.
Stanley, we must move on from this
Okay.
broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Because that's red. But that's not it. We found that one. Okay, let's go upstairs. There's only one fireplace I know of. That's here. It says nearby a fireplace.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire.
Why did I
if
get
not
that
for the
achievement? I
soothing
wasn't trying to
presence
jump.
of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's
Weird.
warmth and guiding light
pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Nearby a fireplace. Interesting. How would I get up there? This is the only fireplace I know of.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one.
What?
And then the first
Figular-
number will equal
big-
the second number, and that will be it. We'll be
Figure
different people
Allerines?
by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
What's the red and blue place? I'm trying to think of red and blue place. Not that I've seen one. Unless...
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Yeah, it's fine. We go this way. My bucket! Oh, there it is.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
No,
Everyone
I would
in
never
the
drop the
office was
bucket.
being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
What is that?
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Was that 528 or 544? 528. I don't know what that would be important for, but it seems important.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket
No.
been told to do things it didn't wish to do?
No.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
I feel
His
predictable
own
now.
life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire
I want a bucket
world.
now. This is making me
At this
want a
point,
bucket.
He could trust no one except for the bucket.
Their buckets of fun. Oh, Mr. Bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would
Where's
dismantle
three?
the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment
How do I
about
go up there?
taking down the system.
There was a way to start this up, I think. It's not by hitting 5. that connected to a butter of some kind? It's not exactly the same color, but why not? It's a big red button. I feel like there has to be some way to open that door. Okay, fine. 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 Oh! I think I know how. Which is dumb of me, because I know this is a facility power station. Alright, Bucket, let's do
When
this.
at last they came to the source of... But at the last second, the Bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the Bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the
He didn't
power
push it,
for
I pushed
itself? How could the Bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared
Wait,
to
no.
throw the Bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
What the f... oh.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Okay.
The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the Bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the Bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
All right. Uh-huh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Birds.
simply missed a memo.
Birds. Lots
The
of
Bucket made
birds.
Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
Okay.
Stanley clutched the Bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the Bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
Yeah,
was
it's
simply
fine.
the
It's
place
fine.
to
Let's try
be.
this
And
one
here it
last
was.
time.
Had the Bucket turned out to be correct? Was no...
Because there's apparently over 42 new
Bucket was
endings.
wrong. Stanley took the
And
door
I
in
don't
his
know
hand
how
to
many
go
I've gotten
back,
so
And
far.
so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Okay, I'm curious about how to get the last one, so I'm actually going to try and look that up. I don't know where the red blue room is. Okay, that's the first one. Number 4. Okay. All right. I know the clue to get there now. And we'll do that later. Because I already fucked it up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the Bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
We've gotten this ending.
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is
Truly
it?
mad.
I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket! Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley!
There's a lot of buckets.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly,
that's a big bucket.
He froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony.
No, I'm running. Oh, damn it.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Okay. One more romp, and hopefully I get the last one.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky.
Maybe I'm not supposed to bring the bucket with me for this. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, that looks way different than I remember.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
No, the bucket's fine.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, I didn't.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there.
God damn it.
It says no buckets.
I have to go there without the bucket, I think.
Just a step through this door.
A journey without the
Stanley thought to
bucket's gonna
himself,
be kind of weird.
That's all I need.
I've gotten too
If I can
accustomed to
make it
picking up
through
that
this
bucket.
door, I can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I did.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
You know, in case I get fired.
It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
Does
left.
this change it to the old content if I don't have the bucket with me? Nope, it doesn't.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
balloon's
it's
aside.
incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
All right, this
Look,
is...
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really. I'm
There's
not.
a way to get through
I
there, I
realize that
swear.
investing
But I
your
can't
trust
remember
in
what
someone
it is.
else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really?
Yes.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others?
Yeah.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
I am.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me...
And
There we
there
go.
it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This
Excellent.
is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many
I've done
people
it.
expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward.
I
I
have.
would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that.
No, we
So,
can't.
Instead, I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Okay.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Hey, the blue door.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well,
Always.
don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place.
Very orange.
Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this
Oh,
what you
okay.
wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Yes.
Do not think I put a lot of time into that, because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me
Yes, it
here,
was.
Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What
Mm-hmm.
would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles?
No.
Skill trees?
Not
Work
really.
with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some
Okay, yeah. No, that's fine. I was about to
there we
suggest
go.
hentai
A
babes.
third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Which one's the high part?
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something.
Yes,
Where
you were.
do these flashes of inspiration come from? How
From
did
me,
I
of
know the
course.
game needed a third door?
'Cause I kept going through
Well,
two
it's
different
instinct
doors.
mostly, a calling in your gut.
All right.
I really couldn't say
Yeah,
where the
listen.
idea came
Fine.
from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't
Did you feel it in your
understand.
bucket?
Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one.
Excellent.
Take a look.
We should.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
How do I answer? Yes. Oh. Oh. Well then. Kind of stuck here. Why if I keep walking into that door, it just keeps walking into it? I feel like I messed up. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I'm gonna pick up the bucket and go to the room on the left.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
Yeah.
Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Okay, Fred. Sure. I did not expect this. When Stanley found the collectibles. Isn't this a reward of some kind? Oh.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Wait, there's more? I thought there were just 6. Oh, we're just recollecting
and
them.
here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Fuck you. What is this?
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
The bathroom. Because I knew where it was.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them.
Yes.
I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Is it? I don't think that's true.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No. This did not happen. This is new. It's a nice room, don't get me wrong. Room looks nice. I've never been here before. Okay. Fireplace one. I remember this one.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was behind the boss's office. I remember it so clearly.
Yes,
In
I remember
fact,
that.
because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Fred. Okay. I like this. That arrow wasn't there. Okay, yeah, it was me stand number 5. This is Super Windows Movie Maker. Good job, narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of time editing anything. 8 minutes. Wow. You must have really took your time editing that video. Prick. Reducing editing down to 8 minutes.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind,
Uh-oh.
perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes,
Oh, the
that's
fourth
all of
one
them.
was in the
They're
cargo
all
room.
collected. It was a moment unlike any other.
I totally
Except
forgot
for the other
how I
moments
got the
picking up
fourth one.
figurines, which it was exactly like.
I totally forgot how I got the fourth one for a while. Okay, yeah.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
That was cool. I like. Oh,
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading
Fred,
screen.
well, hey,
Isn't
Fred,
there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's
Fred,
just go
seriously,
backwards.
no, Fred.
Do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Okay. Whatever you say, Fred. Whatever you'd like to say.
Okay, yes. The room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind.
Fred,
let's keep going. I want more.
You're going over this too much. I'm gonna take it, but we should move on with the story.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
I do.
Yes, I love that video.
Good. I'm glad, Fred. You're starting to worry me. This is not our fourth, where we got the fourth one, though.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Yep, very solid room. Fred, you're starting to worry me. Kind of worrying me a bit.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Except this was a reward. Until now. Now it feels like we're kind of in purgatory and or hell. See, the warehouse is where I got the fourth one. Not the third.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
To continue with the story, Fred. To continue with the story.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
The game. The game itself, Fred. Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? Yeah, that's right. The showcase.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Okay, Fred. All the memories you want.
Oh, yes. The two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory.
We've done this many times. And the office.
And before everything else, there was your office.
Yep.
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound...
Is this the narrator's origin story?
Along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore.
Okay.
Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good.
Sure,
I did enjoy
buddy.
telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go.
We'll go one more time.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I'm curious what happens when we get to the end. Before the buckets.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Wow.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room.
I always
Please
love this part.
Take your time.
I'm just gonna miss it, man. We're going over the memories. I love the closet. The room closet's nice. I don't know why Chris got locked in here, but sure. I can see enjoying it.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Sheer luck, of course. You didn't tell me a
He stepped
thing.
into the newly opened passageway.
One last go around for our good friend Fred, the narrator.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
This has been fun.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
And it's interesting that even though I've seen this, seen all the scenery here, all the rooms,
now the monitors jumped
several
to life,
times,
their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee
it doesn't
in the
feel
building. Stanley's
too repetitive.
coworkers. The lives of
Mainly
so many
because
individuals
it changed
reduced to
almost
images on a
every
screen.
single time we
And
went through the
Stanley,
rooms.
one of them,
And sure, I made a few
was
different
permanently
choices,
monitored in this place
as you
where
should.
Freedom meant nothing.
I only repeated one ending. Because I was trying to search for something else.
This mind control facility, it was too
And
horrible
that's something
to
that's always
believe
been
it
really
couldn't
cool
be
about the
true.
Stanley Parable.
Had Stanley
games
really
like
been under
this.
someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring
And I
job?
think it's one of the
That
reasons
his
I like to play
emotions
games
had
in
been
general.
manipulated to accept
Just
it blindly?
exploring.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
And just the stories
Never.
and experiences
It
you
was
get.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Yeah, pretty much I have.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
And of course, when you listen to somebody that tells you to do everything, you have kind of a quick experience. You go through things quickly, but you don't see much else. You just kind of see the same things over and over again.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
But
Is it over?
if you take your own path, make your own choices,
Yes.
experience the world for how
He had
you
won.
want to experience
He had
it,
defeated the machine.
you'll realize that the
Unshackled
world
himself from
itself
someone else's command.
is a bucket.
Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
There's probably still a lot of
Where had his
puzzles that are left
co-workers
unsolved in the
gone?
game.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as
Well,
sunlight
apparently the
streamed
narrator
into the
needs
chamber,
somebody to talk
he
to.
realized
That's
none
why
of
we
this
got
mattered
freed
to
from
him.
whatever thing he
For
created
it
us
was
to
not
do.
knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
And with that, I leave you with how we began the night. Going through that same experience. Tomorrow night I'm going to be doing the In Space with Markiplier Part 2. And then Wednesday is going to be some fighting games. So I'll figure out what next. But with that, remember the world's chaos, so go out and be magnanimous. I will see you all next time. Also, something I forget to say. Thank you all for watching and hanging out. And since I'm on YouTube, subscribe, please. It helps the channel. Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Later.